Hello, hi. Well, here we are again, and this time we're tackling a serious subject that gets women all the time, especially if you have ever been like me and you're picking the wrong partners over and over again, and then doing everything you can to try and make them happy so that you can go back into that honeymoon period, which was the first 3 months, which was the best 3 months you'll ever have with anybody, let's face it, whether it's a guy or a man. But when you're picking the wrong partner and you get sucked into the wrong relationship and you have those amazing first 3 months, and then everything starts going to shit and you start trying so hard to make it work, this is when you start to lose yourself. Hey Sandra, nice to see you on. So what we're talking about today is the definition of losing yourself in a relationship, why it happens so frequently. What are you going to do to stop that cycle so that not only are you happy in a relationship, not only are you free inside a relationship, but you're actually growing as a human inside of that relationship. So what is the definition of losing yourself? I get this question a lot from women. And I ask them, what do you mean when you say, how do I stop losing myself? And ultimately what they say is exactly what I went through, which is they're preoccupied all the time with the relationship, with what's going on. Hi, Jen. With making it better, with fixing the issues that are going on, with how are you going to resolve this fight that we're going through. And there's no room in your mind for you because all that's happening in your mind is him and us. Hey Lane, hi, nice to see you. So how do you not lose yourself? Well, it's a 3-step process, but you got to understand how you get in those relationships in the first place. And before I get into that, I'm going to tell you where I am today so that you understand that not losing yourself is completely possible. I used to lose myself. Now I'm in a relationship where I'm fully supported. My mind is clear. And I mean, it was so preoccupied with my relationship that when it started to clear, it was an incredible experience. Like I'd realize that I'd have these moments. Hi, Lane. Good. Mwah. Send me some bubbles, girl. So now I'm in a relationship where I'm supported, where everything that makes me happy is being uplifted and upheld. And my husband fully believes in that ideology. Oh, thank you for that, Papa. Hi, Christine. My husband fully believes happy wife, happy life, and I get to do my coaching. I get to help women come into the space where I am, which is amazing. I get to do my writing. I've written 7 books right now. People, let me just tell you, okay? This is why I'm the best dating coach out there. I put my money where my mouth is. Dating 101, getting right before you get it wrong. Comeback queen, getting over a breakup. Fake love need not apply. By the way, you get this one free when you sign up on my website, on my mailing list. No more assholes. This is the one you want if you're single. It's the vetting process. Once you find the right partner, you got half the battle. Now you got to make it work. After the first kiss is what's going to help you set the right foundation, but you're probably going to fight about stuff, so you want to fix that shit so that you stop. And then, of course, a little bit of chicken soup for the soul. Say yes to goodness. So, and my next book is coming out in the fall. I'm starting to write it in June. I get to do what makes me feel passionate because I'm not lost. I get to do philanthropy. I volunteer with an organization. We do fundraising for the community. It's women helping women locally and worldwide. Oh, I know, Sandra. I wish I met you 2 years ago. I get to enjoy my dogs. I get to get out in nature. I get to make my man happy, and it makes me happy to make him happy because he makes me so happy. Hi, Dave. Nice to see you. I got man fans too, by the way, not just women, because men stand behind what I say. I teach women how to become happy and they infect their relationships with that happiness. I'm free to do this because I'm not lost, but it wasn't always that way. And I'll tell you the two biggest lessons that taught me how important it was to be in a relationship. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the love. I'm going to tell you the two biggest lessons I learned that taught me the importance of being in a relationship where I was free. So the first one happened when I was in university studying sociology. As some of you know, sociology, psychology, anthropology, biology. I eat this shit up night and day. I devour it. You know, one of the things that I say that is like my biggest sort of educator is I behave and then I analyze my behavior. Because, hi Dave, there's a ton of importance in learning for both men and women. I agree 100%. 100%. So I am just like you. I'm no different than any of you. The only difference is this curiosity that's going on in my head that says research, research, research. Like, university was too slow for me. I went for some curiosity, but my end goal was education, which is why there was points where I went in and points where I pulled back so that I could really focus on educating myself. So I was going to school, I was studying sociology, and I was in the 5.5-year period with my husband where all we were doing was fighting. And even when we weren't fighting, it was still below the surface, because what we were, saying to ourselves was, okay, look, we have like an hour a day to spend with each other. And so we're not going to spend all of this time hashing issues. And so we're just not going to talk for a little bit and try to enjoy each other's company and try to be cuddly and try to be lovey and try to incorporate the things that make us feel like we care about each other. But stuff was still bubbling below the surface, so there was no freedom. And I'm trying to study for class. Hey, Kate, I love reading your books, listening to your videos, so helpful. Love you. Please, if you've read my books, if it's helped you in any way, go leave a review on Amazon. I want you to spread the love. I want you to tell people what you've learned, because people follow. And if you tell people on Amazon, even if you met me at a book signing, you can still go on Amazon and leave a review. And people who are like maybe on the fence, I don't know, and they see what you said, they'll buy the book and maybe they'll feel the same uplifting that you did. So here I am in university. I'm trying to study and I can't. And I'm a nerd. I'm such a nerd. And if I'm going to go to school, I want those A's. And it was hard to study because our mind kept turning around the issues happening in our relationship. And so I actually stopped fighting with my husband for a while because I was trying to get those good grades. And I did that for about a month or so. And I actually said to him after that month, I'm like, do you know why we haven't fought in the past month? And he goes, I honestly, I forget his answer. And I go, because I'm trying to study and I can't deal with you and deal with school at the same time. I had to separate the two, which meant I had to detach from my relationship to try to get good grades in school, because being mentally inside my relationship meant not being free. It meant being sucked into all these issues and constantly turning around them, constantly trying to fix them. And I was lost and I couldn't focus on myself. Another time when this materialized was when I started this whole business. And I was at the very beginning. I was creating my platform, creating my website, creating my branding, creating my seminars, writing my first book. And I was fighting a lot with my husband. We were this close to divorce. I actually said to myself, I'm going to be one of those single dating coaches, because I'm going to know all this stuff about how to make a relationship work, but this one isn't. Like we were so close to that. And I said to him, you have to go, because I can't do this and I can't do you at the same time. And he started sleeping at the shop. He started sleeping at work because I couldn't have him around me, because it was either him or it was me. And I couldn't do both, because if it was us, I was lost. So those two times really made me realize, two times in my life when I was trying really hard to achieve something that was important to me, It made me realize that if I was in the wrong relationship or even in the right relationship and it wasn't working, I couldn't develop. I couldn't grow. I couldn't be. So, have you ever been so caught up in a relationship and your mind has been so wrapped up in everything that's going on that you couldn't concentrate on your own life? I want to hear from you. I want somebody to send me a little something, just like, yeah, I've been there. Just, you feel like every time you're trying to focus on you get sucked into this, and all of your thought patterns, all of your focus is on trying to make it work. What am I going to say the next time I see him? I've got this issue in my head. When's going to be the right time? When is it going to be the right words? And all you can focus on is that. And yeah, Katie, good. I'm going to help you. I hope you're not there now, but if you are, I'm going to help you out here. So, have you been there? Let me help you pull out, okay? I've got 3 tips. Thank you for the hearts. I've got, thank you. Got 3 tips, okay? So grab some pen, grab some paper. We're going to help you through this. We're going to give you some concrete tools that are going to help you make it out of this and into something better for you. And listen, I want you to believe me. Taking care of you means taking care of those around you. When you step into a better place, hi, Christine. Nice to see you. When you step into a better place and you tell your partner, look at where I am, join me here. The one who loves you will follow you. So do not be afraid to step into what I'm about to teach you, okay? So the first step is you're going to take control of your emotions. I don't want you to feel like any of this is selfish. I don't want you to feel that way. Guilt is a female emotion, by the way. Ladies, when you feel guilt, I want you to tell yourself this: oh, I have a vagina. That's the way it works. There are certain emotions that come with genders that are more interwoven into you, and there is an evolutionary purpose to that. Whenever you experience something, this is like my number one question. Whenever I go through something and I go, that was pretty intense, my next thought is, what is the evolutionary purpose of what just went through my mind? So when you have a guilt sensation, don't go, oh, I feel guilty, I shouldn't do that. Go, okay, I feel guilty. What is the evolutionary purpose of that emotion? So guilt is woven into the female gene code because you need to care about the babies you make. If you didn't feel guilty about whether or not they thrived, those little babies would die, because you'd be like, oh, the color's off, the weight is off, whatever, I got shit to do. So this sensation of guilt is what brought us to where we are today. So say thank you, guilt, for helping us as a species so that I can stand here today and Facebook Live and talk to my favorite author. So just acknowledge that you have that guilt, but follow these 3 steps, okay? So the first one is take control of your emotions. This is going to take a little bit of time, but the thing is, anything worth doing does take time. It does take some focus. So it's a little bit of story about how time, how change takes time. I used to put my toothbrush in the cupboard beside the sink in the little linen cupboard, and I decided that I didn't like where it was. So I actually put the glass that it was in right beside the faucet. So turn the faucet, there's a glass. For a month, I kept reaching for the toothbrush in the cupboard. So even though it was right there, it was right in front of my face, I still kept going for the old place, because your brain has neural pathways that you carve with every thought and every action that you take. And in order for you to start being different, you have to do a behavior over and over again to recarve a new pathway in your brain while the old one grows over. So think about like a path through a field. The more you walk down that path, the more it gets laid bare, the more visible it becomes, the more it looks like the path of least resistance, right? If you deviated from one path to a new one and you kept carving this new one, the old path is going to grow over. It's the same thing in your brain. And by the way, when you think of something long enough and often enough, that path becomes a Grand Canyon. Anyway, that's a whole other live video. So take control of your emotions. So what we're going to do for here is 2 steps. You're going to meditate. So I want you to go to my YouTube channel. I want you to find my Let's Meditate playlist. The very top video is a 2-minute tutorial on how to meditate. Ladies, it's so easy, and my man fans, it's so easy. Can you sit in a chair? Can you wear headphones? Can you close your eyes? Yes, you can meditate, okay? That's all you do. Then you plug those headphones in, you listen to the second thing that's on my YouTube channel, which is the 10-minute love signal. The stuff that I have on my YouTube channel is binaural beats. Now what this is frequencies. Hi Veronique, nice to see you. Long time no see, girlfriend. So what is a binaural beat? It's frequencies. So when you think about when people have electrodes attached to their head and they look at a monitor and they see the wavy lines, those are the frequencies that your brain waves are at. And depending on whether you're awake or you're sleeping, if it's deep sleep, if it's a dream state sleep, or if you're meditating, your brain waves are at a certain frequency. Binaural beats imitate the meditation frequency, so it pulls your brain into a meditative state faster, which means the time you spend sitting with those headphones is more efficient. And I know you're busy mamas. I know you don't have a lot of time, which is why I use binaural beats mostly in that playlist. But there's a lot of other stuff in there. Whatever pulls your heart, go in and listen to it. But if you don't know where to start with the 10-minute love, which is at the very top. The second thing you're going to do is separate your emotional ride. You're going to give yourself permission to not be so conscientious about him all the time. What's he thinking? What's he doing? What does he want? How am I going to appease him? How am I going to make him happy? Separate your emotional ride, because now you've got to focus on you. If you want to be happy and you want to not be lost, you can't keep getting lost in him. So I'm giving you permission. Separate that emotional roller coaster, okay? Which means every time you realize that you're thinking about him, I want you to pull yourself back to you. What do I want? That's your number one question. What do I want? What do I need? It can be simple. It can be complex. I need a glass of water. I need to sit down to meditate. I need to do some yoga. I need to do some writing. I need to get to work and focus on me. I'm going to tell you a little trick that I was using recently because I went into spin mode again. Every time I realized I was off spinning on somebody else and not focusing on what was making me happy and where I wanted to go, what my future goals were, this was my mantra. How am I going to better use my brain? So when you realize that you're sucked into this again and all these issues, pull yourself back in. What do I need? How am I going to better use my brain? And get into it. Don't just ask the question and then go back into your same pattern. Recarve that new channel. Your second step is you're going to take responsibility for your actions. When you find yourself feeling unhappy and you find yourself spinning, I want you to ask yourself, what am I not doing to make myself happy? I'm giving you full permission to take care of yourself here. This is the way you do it. When you step into yourself and into your power, and he starts seeing what this great space is that you're creating, if he loves you, he will follow. If he loves himself more, he won't. And this is going to be an indicator about whether or not this is the right relationship for you, because the wrong person doesn't want you to feel uplifted. There's 2 kinds of males out there. There are guys who are selfish, short-term thinkers. There are men who are generous, long-term thinkers. Guys who are selfish and short-term don't want you to be happy. They want you to be controllable because they want you to give them what they want instead of you giving yourself what you want. They want everything that is an asset to you, and that's your time, that's your money. It's your focus, it's your concentration, it's your dedication, it's your devotion. They want it all for themselves. They don't want you to have any left for you. So if that's how he is when you start doing these steps, let him pull away, because this is not the right one for you. When you start doing these steps and you start getting happier and more controlled, you're going to see the right one is going to follow you into that space. The third one is standing firm for what you deserve. So these are the words that I was saying to my husband at one point. Because whenever I try to tell him, I feel this about something, and he go, oh, you shouldn't feel that way. You just shouldn't. This is why, and blah, blah, blah. And by the way, these are my issues. And I had to start saying to him, I don't want to be in a relationship where I'm not allowed to have feelings. And I would stand firm in that. And I actually started using one of his lines on him, which is, you don't have to like it. You don't have to like how I feel, but I'm going to tell you how I feel. I'm going to express to you what kind of relationship I want to be in. And if you want to support that kind of relationship, then we can be in a relationship together. But if you don't support me having feelings, then maybe we shouldn't be in a relationship. So I want to know, do you guys have any questions for me today? If you do, I want you to send me an email. You can message me on Facebook. You can go to my website, canadasdatingcoach.com. I actually also have a free group for you. It is Dating Coach for Soulful Babes. I've got free resources on there. If you're in a relationship and you want something a little bit more geared towards relationship tools and solving conflict, I've got a relationship challenge 2018 going on right now. You can find that group and join that as well. Buy my books off Amazon. I get so much incredible feedback. I wish everybody who read my books left a review on Amazon, because then everybody else would know how amazing they are. But they are transformational, and the thing is, I transformed, and I transformed using science. I put that in my books. I teach you how to transform. It's my story, it's my journey, but it's so much education. There is such a lack of knowledge, ladies, and it is leading you astray. And because you're being led astray, and the men are looking to you for leadership, which, trust me, they are, if you don't know what direction to turn, neither do they. So my whole thing, my reason d'etre, the reason why I exist, is so that I can teach you how to be the emotional leader in your relationship. Because when you become the emotional leader, guess what? Both of you are happy. So, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, iTunes, Podbean. You can also find me at canadasdatingcoach.com. I'm going to sign off for now. Ladies and gentlemen, it was so much fun seeing you tonight, and I'm going to talk to you again soon.